We have some exciting news. We recently hit just over 1,000 subscribers on the channel, so thank you all for your support. To celebrate, we'll be doing a tour of our reptile room and the entire house. But first, I figure I should introduce you to Cheyenne. She's a blue and gold macaw, and she's going to be talking and mumbling throughout the entire thing because she thinks she's part of the video. So we're actually going to take her out of the room. You step up. So that she isn't so annoying in the background. But I'm going to go from top to bottom for each of these racks. And we do have reptiles in other parts of the house too, but we'll probably have to cut it so that we can make 2 parts of this video. Otherwise it'll just be too long. So I will start up here. First, let's start with this rack. This has probably the most snakes in it. And we're gonna start from top down. Actually, these first 4 bins all have bull snakes on them, everything with a tag. This one's empty. These are all from last year's clutch of baby bull snakes, and the reason why I kept them all, or most of them, is all because of this little baby called Stripey. I'll show you him first so you can see why we kept them. Come here. Oh, and by the way, these bins all have little trays in them because that's what I put their food on. They can just eat it up, and then I don't have to worry about them ingesting bedding too. Here's Stripey. These are all exactly 1 year old now, all these baby bull snakes. And he has these interesting stripes down his side, hence his name. We tried to give him a better name, but we just kept referring to him as the Stripey baby. So Stripey it is. So we kept him and all the babies to see if this is a genetic trait. And this is going to sound weird, but when they're all old enough, we'll be breeding Stripey to his sisters to see if we can get some more Stripey babies. We also kept 1 male in here just in case something were to happen to him, because he was really small. He was like the runt of the clutch. Over here we have Heather and Jane. Heather has an attitude. I think you've seen her in a previous video. She'll probably hiss at us and strike at us. Can I touch you? You're fine. Yep, that's a nice strike pose. And this is Jane over there just kind of hiding. Oh, jeez. She came out of her bin almost. You're fine. I'm trying to hold her more so she realizes she can't get away with hissing and striking, but I'll do that later. Down here we have Tina and Dottie, more females from that clutch. Just kind of hanging on to them until we can raise them up. I'll leave it that way. Raise them up to breed. Just another bull snake. Everyone else in the clutch looked completely normal. Where are you? Oh, you're wedged behind your humidity box. Well, so much for that. This one is in shed. Which one was this? Tina? Come here. Yep, you have an attitude too, but I don't blame you. It's because you're in blue. You're fine. Can you just go in your humidity box here? Here, use this. It'll help you shed. Oh. Oh, we like the humidity box. That's right. This is a good thing. Put her back in here. Maybe she'll actually start using it. And the biggest bull snakes from the clutch are just together temporarily in this bin. They were so big I didn't want to put them in just half of a bin. This is Hannah and Fridge because we found him under the fridge when he escaped once when he was a baby. But they are pretty big. Hannah, because she has an H right there. That's how we got her name. They're a decent size. They were the best eaters and still are the best eaters of the entire clutch. So they actually eat mice in front of kids at programs nowadays. So that's also kickstarting their growth, and that's why they're so friendly, because they're being handled quite a bit, whereas their siblings, who are still hissing by the way, are not handled as much. So that's all the bull snake babies. We'll move down to the next level, which has egg-eating snakes. Where are you? Oh, there's one. See, we just scatter eggs in their enclosures for them to eat at their leisure. This is one of the female egg eaters. And I think the other one, where is the other one? Are you trying to fit in here? You can't fit in there. That was such a tight squeeze there. This was my very first egg-eating snake. I got her from the Minnesota Herpetological Society, and she's the one who kickstarted my love for this species. It's just a really neat snake. Her name is Toothless, after the dragon. And because of her, I now have baby egg eaters, and quite a passion for them too. Here's your hut. You can try to fit in there again if you want. I'll put your branch back. So pretty. I just love their markings. Their big eyes. Okay, put you guys in here. Oh, move this branch that way. Okay. Then on the other side, we start the hognose snakes. This is a pair we bought last year as hatchlings. They're pastel hognoses. I don't know if I see much a difference in their color as I do just a regular hognose, but apparently the pastel morph reduces the clutter in between their blotches. But again, they look like normal hogs to me, although I really like them. They have cute personalities. These two don't have names, but they are het toffee belly, so when they're big enough to breed, I'll hopefully get some toffee belly babies. This is the male, and the female's on that side. And by the way, this is kind of a neat opportunity to show you all of my snakes, because since I have so many multiples, I leave a lot of them out of my normal videos, because I don't want to bore you with multiple snakes of the same species. Here we have a couple more hognoses. He should be het for pink pastel, and I'm going to actually hold him next to this eastern hognose snake. As you can see, the eastern is a lot darker. They have less of an upturned snout, and these guys get along pretty well. I don't house them together, but I'm able to put them together temporarily for, you know, just educational purposes to show the differences. But the easterns also have these big black blotches behind their head. But they are more strict toad eaters in the wild, so not many people keep easterns as pets because it's really hard to feed them. I actually have to, on his little tray here, I'll put a mouse with a little toadlet on top to kind of convince him to start eating it. So I do have to trick him into eating. But if you want a hognose, this is why you get a western, because they are so much easier to feed. Oh, and this eastern, I let a kid name, which is the last time I do that because his name is Sparkles. These are both males. And over here we have a really cool type of hognose snake. I don't think any of you have seen these yet. The nice thing about these bins is when I can't find a snake, I look underneath and it tells me exactly where they are. This is a type of hognose that not many people keep. This is, oh, and when they're excited, they'll rattle their tails, which is pretty cute. This is a tricolor hognose snake. This is my male. The female is on the other side. He has a little bit of growing still to do, obviously, but they look like a milk snake mixed with a hognose. They have just a barely upturned snout, and this type of hognose snake does not play dead when they're threatened, which I also find interesting. And the female is, I'll look underneath. Oh, I think she's in the corner here. No, she was. Oh, she's sucking back. Come here. My female is quite a bit darker, quite a bit bigger too, actually. These are quick growing snakes, so within probably another year from now, she should be big enough to breed. Cute little snake, great eater. Love this species. I'm really excited to be working with them in the near future. Next level. We have more hognoses. By the way, I have a lot of hognoses. I don't quite know exactly how many I have. I haven't counted recently. So if you want to take a tally and let me know, that'd be great. This is an albino female hognose snake. And she's also considered a twin spot. She's chilling in her humidity box here. But she's considered twin spot because instead of one large central spot, she has two little ones side by side. Love this little girl. She's growing like a weed, a little less than a year old. And over here we have, I got this one at the Tinley show. This is an anaconda morph, and anaconda hogs have, instead of many smaller spots on their bodies, they have fewer but larger spots, and she has some interesting fading to those spots too. So she's an anaconda. Oh, they also have a black belly, which is really neat. Anaconda het albino. So I'll be breeding her to one of my male albinos, and I'll have my fingers crossed that I get a couple anaconda albinos from that future clutch. Obviously, she's very young, though. A lot of growing left to do in her. Next bin. This is a pair of just normal anaconda hognose snakes. My male is over there. I have my big female over here. She is on the smaller end of breeding size, but she may be gravid. We're not exactly sure. We did see him attempting to lock up with her, but we're not sure if that actually took. So we're keeping a really close eye on her. You may recognize her from programs. She is Bacon. Her name is Bacon. and she eats a lot of the times in front of the kids. Next floor, we're getting there. We only have 3 left because I don't use the bottom rack because the bins are too tight. Here we have more hognose snakes. This one is a female that is het pink pastel, and she's going to be paired with the male up here, that's het pink pastel, and just a normal albino hognose. Nothing else special about him, just albino. He's I don't know if I'm going to be hanging on to him though, because he's so striky and hissy that he doesn't seem to want to breed. He just wants to hiss. So he may end up going as a pet only to someone who doesn't mind his little attitude. He doesn't bite, he just strikes. Put them back in there. On this side we have his face kind of explains her personality. This is an adult eastern hognose snake. Not in there. We actually have leaves in the front because she gets so worked up when we're in the room. So the leaves help make her feel a little more secure. Again, eastern hognose snakes are darker than westerns. They also have more of an attitude, as you can see with her. She's going to hood up this entire time we're looking at her. She's flattening out her entire body, actually. This is a good hood. You are so scary. I am feeling so threatened by you right now. That's impressive. It is a nice snake. I do like how dark they get when they're an adult. But I'm not going to tick her off too much longer, so I'll give her back this cave. Oh, don't escape. Don't escape. There we go. So you can just go back in there and chill. She came from the Humane Society up in St. Cloud, and she was surprisingly eating frozen thawed, unscented rodents for me. She's going to spill her water there, of course. But I really lucked out with her because she's not on a toad diet. So I was really excited to get her. Next level is not a snake for once. This is Legolas. Oh, you ate your egg. That's awesome. He is the legless lizard that was in one of my other videos. He likes hiding under there. I feed him a lot of canned dog food and eggs. He loves eggs, so I'll sprinkle some calcium powder on those occasionally for him. Over here, we have a het albino female hognose snake. This is actually the mom of the babies that I hatched not too long ago. Her name is Miss Piggy. Come here. She is a very friendly hognose snake, unlike that eastern. And she's a great eater too, so she will often go to programs with me. Actually, I accidentally dipped her head in the water dish a bit, so she decided to take a drink. Did you forget that there was water in here? Snakes, or hognose snakes, aren't the brightest snakes. There you go. And in this bin, we have a fan favorite. I need my other hand to open this bin. There we go. It's getting a little tight down here. This one kids really love. There he is. This is an albino Nelson's milk snake. His name is Candy Cane. He's a very friendly milk snake too. And he came from a breeder that had so many baby milk snakes and king snakes that whenever he had babies that didn't want to eat right away, he would bring all those babies in a bag to a local reptile zoo, and that zoo would take the babies and freeze them and then feed them one by one to their cobras in the zoo. So I luckily had a friend who worked at that zoo, and he asked if I wanted a baby snake, even though it was a problem eater from what he was told. And I told him, yeah, take one out for me. So he pulled Candy Cane here out of that bag. He eats great now, so I don't know why he didn't eat for the breeder. But I'm really glad that he did not get turned into cobra food. Do you want to go? There you go. You can go back there. He also loves his humidity box, so that just stays in with him permanently. And lastly, on this side, we have a not-so-nice snake. I don't think anyone's seen this one before. His name is Walter. He's in his 20s. This is a coastal rosy boa. Nice shed, bud. That's great. We'll take that out. And he was kept as a pet. I'm not going to touch this guy because he just wants to bite me. But he was kept as a pet in the cities nearby. But they didn't feed him much. They said that they just kept forgetting to feed him. So when I got him, he was really skinny. And all he wanted to do was eat, of course, including anything that moved in front of his face. So fingers, he thinks, are food. But he's such an old guy that, he kind of gets away with it. He has definitely gained his weight back. And he looks like a nice, healthy rosy boa again. Although he is still not the friendliest. So I may have to do a video on how to get a snake to stop biting you using him with the methods that are recommended. So I think that'd be kind of an interesting video. Let me know if you think that'd be interesting too. Now we have this tall rack. Obviously the bins in here are much larger, so the snakes inside are bigger as well. Up at the top is one of my husband's reticulated pythons. Where are you? Are you actually in your cave? Oh, nice poop there. Lovely. Oh, there she is. This is just a small, normal colored reticulated python. She's a good eater too. Not the friendliest, but that's okay. She's pretty. Gets away with it. Down here we have an albino Burmese python. His name is Popeye because he has some interesting swollen eyes almost. We had a vet look at him. He got fluids when he was surrendered to the rescue. And we have a little wound that we're taking care of, and he is severely underweight. As you can see, his folds on his skin shouldn't be there, so we are trying to get some more weight on him. But the person who surrendered him just told the society, I have a yellow snake and I don't want it. I think it was her husband's, who either was not with her anymore or I don't know what happened exactly, but she just let it sit in the tank for a long time before finally giving him to the society. But he's hanging in there. He's a great eater, so hopefully we can get the weight back on him in no time, and then I can use him in programs. He'd be a nice snake for programs, I think. Next bin would be, oh, you moved your cave and you moved your feeding tray. Maybe I'll just take that out. This is a bull snake, of course. She has like 10% pine snake in her, based on her lineage, and she is het exanthic, het white-sided, and het albino. Her name is Mrs. Wilson, and she's the pair to Mr. Wilson, who you'll see later. And what I find interesting is, although she isn't actually exanthic, it almost looks like she shows the exanthic a little bit in her coloration. And in case you aren't familiar, exanthic makes them essentially a black and white snake. But she is just het for it, which is why it's really neat how she shows it so much. Next bin, this one is probably my favorite snake. He's in shed. His name is Janet. He is a boy though. We thought he was a girl at first, hence the girly name. He is the friendliest bull snake I've ever met. Although, since he was sleeping, he may hiss a little bit when I touch him here. Oh, not a whole lot, actually. Yeah, you're just a great snake. He's just coming out of blue phase, so he is really close to shedding, so I won't bother him a whole lot. Leave him in here. Janet came from the Herpetological Society as well, and somebody abandoned him in their apartment complex when they moved out. They put him in a box in the closet and then left, and the next person didn't find him until they moved in about 6 months later. So he was extremely skinny when we first got him, but thankfully bull snakes like to eat everything, so he gained that weight back in like 2 to 3 months or so. And he is the dad to those baby bull snakes that hatched out just recently. Next we have another rescued snake who was also abandoned in an apartment complex. He's in another one of the videos. You actually get to see right when I picked him up. There he is. This is Creepy Cooter. He is a blood-red mutation corn snake. He's still pretty skinny, but he is gaining the weight back. Slowly but surely. He is a fantastic eater, so he eats a lot at the programs too. But just a really pretty snake. You'll have to check out the video in which I picked him up so you can see kind of the conditions he came from. He loves it underneath his water dish. He's usually curled up trying to fit underneath it, even though he has multiple caves that he can fit in easily. Snakes are weird, is all I can say about that. Next we have, this is a honeymooning pair of bull snakes. The yellow one is Mr. Wilson. Don't tell Mrs. Wilson, but he has 2 ladies. Mr. Wilson is an albino or a hypoalbino bull snake that's het for white-sided and exanthic, so with him being paired with her, they should create a huge variety of babies, including some completely white bull snakes called snows. So I'm really excited for their future babies. Although he's currently on honeymoon with his second wife. She doesn't have a name yet. She's pretty new, but she's just a hypo bull snake, and since he's also hypo, all their babies should be hypo too. Although I don't know, she always stares at me like she's judging me. And maybe she does with him too. I haven't seen any breeding activity yet, but we'll see. Next we have another one of my husband's reticulated pythons. This is a golden child, is the mutation that it's called. Her name is Noodle. Oh, I know. I'm not gonna even continue petting you there. She is hungry. It's feeding night tonight, so a lot of the snakes are hungry right now. So we'll just keep moving on. In here I have a pair of fox snakes. Fox snakes are one type of snake you can house together. So I have my male here. He was a captive bred male from nearby. And the female, her name is Vicky, is in back here. Quite a bit bigger, as you can see. There's usually a size difference between males and females. I don't think my male has done anything quite yet, because she hasn't shown any signs of being gravid. But we're housing them together so that if he decides he is pretty interested in her, they can have their privacy in here. We have 2 left. These last 2 bins are reticulated pythons. Again, they're my husband's. He's into the pythons. I'm more into the colubrids, like all the others I've showed you. This is Murdoch, is his name. This is, I can't remember exactly what he told me this one is. I think a titanium? I don't know. If anyone's familiar with reticulated morphs, since they're more of my husband's thing, you have to let me know or remind me what morph he is, since this isn't my breeding project. But he is a gorgeous snake nonetheless. Just a really pretty guy. He's really friendly too. I've used him in some programs. And finally, we have one more bin. This one is kind of a pain to take out though, so I'm going to move the camera, use both hands. But it's worth it for the snake inside. This is an albino golden child reticulated python. Super bright colors. And he's also used in programs. He's actually a really nice one. Good eater, just beautiful eyes, and he's a lavender albino. So the gray spots are actually kind of purpley if you look at him close enough. So that's why they're called lavender albinos. He's gonna suck back into his cave, I guess. And this last rack is actually pretty quick because most of these snakes are not mine, but they are a friend of mine whose house burned down not too long ago. You may remember it from another video. He had a bunch of ball pythons that were pulled from his burning house. Sadly, he lost over 60 of them, and the ones that we were able to save, even some of those didn't make it, sadly, but they all have some sort of scarring on their nose. Like, see where his nose is white? Let me focus here. See where his nose is kind of white there? It should not be white, and his mouth is slightly open. That's just all scar tissue, and he's going into shed. That's actually a good sign. But it's all scar tissue from the flames, which is really sad, but at least we got some of them out. I did take in temporarily a couple of his carpet pythons. There you are. Yeah, I'm being really careful because her name is Puppy, but she isn't so friendly as a puppy. So I'm just gonna close that. We also have another one whose name I won't mention, but you may have seen it. Oh, hi. Nope. Sweetie, I know you're hungry. You get to eat later today, okay? I promise. But let's stay in the bin for now. Please just stay in the bin. No, don't come out. Really? No. We're gonna go in here. We're gonna go in there. In the bin. Okay. Keep going. You'll get food later, I promise. No. No, stay in there. Oh, man. This one's a handful, as you can see. She's very, very food motivated. So we have the hook right here just for you. Anyway, the snakes that I have in this rack include this one. This is one of my newer snakes, actually. Oh, wait, not this one. Sorry. But these are mine anyway. This is a pair of hognose snakes. Looks like he's actually trying to lock up, which is great. He is a male. She is female, het for albino. Her name is Huff and Puff because she huffs and puffs all day long. I might just give you guys some privacy. Sorry, I interrupted. I'll move your cave back later. I don't want to squish you. Up here is, oh, this one's my new one. I can tell by the tunnels. This is a Mexican hognose snake. And where are you? I'm hoping to find a female to pair with him someday. He is a proven breeder male. You down here. With hognoses, you sometimes have to dig. There you are. Come here. The Mexicans, they may look very similar, and I agree, they kind of do look similar. But one difference would be these dark spots on each side of his body. You kind of see there and there. They go all the way down, unlike in just a Western hognose snake. They also have really big eyes, I've noticed. Here we go. So maybe they look normal to you, but to me, I think the Mexican hognose snake's eyes look pretty big for the rest of its body. We'll set you over there. Move your water dish back. And in you go. Above him is an adult milk snake. She is another recent snake to the collection, but she's so friendly. She's used in programs, and she eats really well. She's a little fat, so I'm reducing her feedings from what her old owner had her on to try to get her to lose a little bit of weight. Up at the top of this rack are a pair of Woma pythons. Now, these live in Australia. They're endangered in the wild, so we're excited to be breeding these when they get big enough. Just really neat tiger striping patterns down their back. Cool snake. They're really, like, twitchy, we've noticed, and as you can see, it's just kind of a Woma thing. We have the other one over here in his cave, I guess. Hey, sweetie. Aw, what a good spiral. Are you going to be twitchy too? No, you're not going to be twitchy. These don't have names, but we just have them for a future breeding project. Should be fun to get some babies. At the very, very bottom of this last rack, I have some salamanders. Where? Oh, there's one. They know it's feeding night tonight. Oh, there's the other one. Oh no, they're going to chase after me because they know that I have food. No, I'm going to close this before you crawl out. And just more salamanders down there. Last but not least, in this little half of a snake rack shelf, I have the baby albino checkered garter snakes. You can see a few through the wall of that deli. And we have them in groups of like 5 or 6, and they're doing really well. They're eating about twice a week on worms or cut up minnows, including just a minnow tail, because I'll hold my finger up here. They're really too small to eat anything much bigger than that. But they are great eaters for the most part. We have a couple picky ones. But the ones that are eating are available in case anyone's interested in one. They are teeny tiny though, and they can sneak through little openings. So any holes much bigger than that, they'd be able to get out of. So you do have to be a little careful with these snakes, or they will escape on you. Well, that concludes the tour of this reptile room in our house. I am going to stop it here so that it isn't too long of a video for you guys. And part 2 will be the reptiles in the other parts around our house. I'm curious to see which ones in this video you like the best, so comment below which one was your favorite animal. And this is just the egg-eating snake here to say goodbye, and we'll see you next week.